So you want to be a marksman. So you want to shoot enemies from very far away and distract them with an American arrow. And of course, this is a 4th job skill, but this is what I mean. It's red, white, and blue. Then you've come to the right class. In the beginner tab, we have the link skill. Now this maxes at level 2, however you can stack it with the other 2 explorer archers to bring it up to level 6, since they stack. At level 6, they will increase your crit rate by 10%, as well as help you get monsters added to your monster collection by 35%. Your Legion effect is crit rate. And I think that's about it for the beginner tab, so let's move into first job. So on first job, you get Arrow Blow. This is your main attack. Shoots 3 arrows. Double jump, you can now right click this to vertical jump, or sorry, to change your vertical jump from double tapping up to just holding up and then pressing jump like most other classes. It's pretty much standard for every vertical jump now. Not every, but you know what I mean. So if I were to right click this now, I'm holding up and pressing jump and I just get a flash jump. So I would have to double tap up while in the air if I want to do a vertical jump. So I recommend right clicking it so that when you jump you can hold up and then press jump. Critical shot, increase your crit rate 40%, which is incredible. And then this increases your movement speed and whatnot, also your attack speed, which is very handy on a marksman. Oh, I forgot to go over the inner ability. Yeah, attack speed is great. Alright, but yeah, that's about it for first job, so let's go ahead and show some mobbing. I mean, I say mobbing, but you don't really... I mean, I guess you do mob with the skill, because each arrow has its own, like, hitbox. Did I just lag? I must have too many things open. But yeah, this is pretty much first job. Nothing too crazy. Ignore the damage, by the way, and I guess the damage skin. I guess some people might see that and be like, hey, do you also get the damage skin? But I'm probably not going to keep all this talking in. Oh, by the way, the flash jump. You can go left, right, you can go up, you can even flash jump downwards. So if you need to reach the ground faster, you can do that. I wonder if you can do that against knockback attacks like Lotus when he knocks you into the air. Wonder if you could like flash jump downwards, or I don't know, Varicilla knocks you away if you can flash jump downwards. I don't know, let me know in the comments. Oh, that's another thing I should mention in these videos. The only class that I'm like super knowledgeable about is Buccaneer, so every other class, you know, like Marksman. I will not know everything, so I will, you know, leave things to you guys to help me out. Anywho, that was the mobbing. Move on to second job. So moving on to second job, we get Piercing Arrow. And with Piercing Arrow, you fire an arrow straight ahead, and for each enemy it passes through, it gets stronger. So you can see I get like 8 whatever, and the enemies on the end like take a lot more damage. Because for each enemy it passes through, it gains, I think, like 15% final damage. Yeah, so really good. Oh, damage is doubled. Crazy. Covering fire. You're not really going to use this too much. I mainly use it as like an extra vertical jump, kind of. Or if I do vertical jump, then I can use it to, you know, change my direction or something. Or like slow me down. But if you hold it down, you stay in the air and you fire for 2 seconds. This can be useful if like an earthquake type attack is about to happen and you need to stay airborne. Or like I said, you can just use it as vertical mobility or like a backwards mobility. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Booster has become passive. Soul Arrow is also passive. And I don't know if I left this in earlier, but in first job you need to have arrows. I think they give them to you. But in second job, you can then drop them if you want to. However, there are some arrows that have some attack power, which can help boost you just a little bit. And you only need to carry 1. Because right now I have no arrows in my inventory. Or no crossbow arrows. And I'm still able to attack. So yeah, once you get this skill, even just 1 point is enough to make it so that you don't need arrows anymore. And then crossbow mastery, very good. Final attack, also pretty good. Every time you attack, there's a 40% chance that an extra hit comes out. And then physical training just gives you passive boost. So let's show some mobbing. By the way, I do have attack speed, so you may not attack as quickly as my Marksman. But yeah, Marksman really likes flat maps. They definitely excel at it. They boosted the vertical hitbox of the arrow. So before the Destiny update, if I jump like that, the arrow would miss like that, basically. But it's a lot more lenient now, so you can actually hit enemies, even if you jump. Unless you do it at the peak of your jump, like the peak of your jump, like the highest you can go. But I mean, it makes sense. Now let's do third job. Oh boy, this is where things get good. Alright. So now that we're third job, we have Empowered Arrows. And with this skill, after hitting an enemy with your piercing arrow, you know, your mobbing skill, 3 times, then your next one will be upgraded to an empowered piercing arrow. And it'll basically do more damage and hit more times and whatnot. It's just better. And it also passively increases the arrow's damage. You also get a new summon. Or, I say new summon, but it's been here for a while. You get a summon, which passively increases your defense by 30%. So you become more tanky. Bolt Burst. This skill, pretty much you get a big AoE. As you can see, I can hit enemies even from up here. And it's a big, like, circle hitbox around you, which is really nice. Because Marksman, before this point, was always more horizontal, which is why this map was always used. Or, not always used, but it was used. But now we have this skill, which is this, like, big AoE circle around you with a really short cooldown of only 7 seconds. So next we have Blink Bolt. When you press the skill, it'll put down a little area, as you can see. And if you press the skill again, you get teleported back to the area that you placed, you know, thing. If you want to replace it, you hold down, and then you press the button, and it'll replace it. As a 1-second cooldown, and you can tell that you can teleport back to the place if you see these lights coming from it, or down to it. And then you see now the lights are gone, which means I cannot teleport back to it until those lights come back. So yeah, it's really good for, you know, certain placements in the map. Oh, and let me show you the empowered arrow. Alright, so here's the empowered one. Okay, it doesn't really look that different. In fourth job, it looks really... it makes like this explosion. It's really cool looking. But, here, I'll try to hit some enemies with it. The AC did more damage there. Alright, Painkiller. This will remove a status ailment off your character, or status effect off your character, and leave you immune to status effects for the next 3 seconds. I probably should have had the window down when I did that. Oh well. And then we have... this used to be a toggle, now it's a passive. Reckless Hunt Crossbow, which will reduce your avoidability so you know, get hit more often. But you increase your crit damage by 20%. And then we have Mortal Blow. When you do damage, there's a 10% chance that your damage will be increased by 20%. You also heal 1% of your HP and MP. Aggressive Resistance is probably my favorite skill Marksman has. Oh, that's not... probably. It just makes them super tanky. Basically, when you attack, you get a shield. And the shield can block 65% of your max HP. But I think it says it reduces the damage by 60%. Yeah. It's really nice. And it stays up for quite a while, so as long as you're continuously attacking, it stays up for 8 seconds, but like, it is so nice. And then we have Evasion Boost, another passive. There's a 30% chance that you dodge an attack. However, when you do dodge an attack, all of your next attacks for 1 second will be critical hits. So even though I have 65% crit rate, if I dodge an attack, like, it can't be that miss. I don't know if I can show it properly in this map. Whatever, I'll show it later. But yeah, it's really nice. Oh, and it also gives you knockback and more HP. Then we have Marksmanship, which will increase your IED, or ignore enemy defense, as well as increase your percent damage. Oh, actually, I was thinking of a different skill. Oops. So yeah, I guess as long as the enemies miss you, then you get a critical hit. However, let me show you the symbol for Mortal Blow. So when you activate Mortal Blow, you can see like a purple diamond appeared above my character. It's a pretty low percent chance, but there you go. So yeah, that purple thing above my head is Mortal Blow activating. Moving on to 4th job, we get Piercing Arrow 2. And this is the same button as Piercing Arrow, but it's just the better version. Hits more times, hits more enemies, and does more damage. On top of that, now when you hit an enemy, up to 2 extra enemies can take damage 4 times. And you can tell by these, like, you see that? So even though my arrow's hitting only down here, the fragments are coming up here and hitting those enemies. So they basically just increase your range of the enemies that you can hit, which is very nice, very handy. And you also get an actual bossing skill, which is Snipe, which always crits. And then we have Greater Empowered Arrows, which will just enhance your next, after you hit an enemy 3 times with either Snipe or Piercing Arrow, your next arrow, your next Pierce or Snipe will be enhanced. Or they call it Empowered, but yeah, enhanced. If it's Pierce, it does like an explosion. Like, I'll show you. Alright, so the next Pierce I do will be an explosion. You'll see like a... There it is, like a little explosion at the end of it. However, if I get the Snipe does something special. And what the Snipe does is it applies a debuff to the enemy that you hit. Alright, so now I'm going to hit the enemy with the Empowered Snipe. And you can see it applies this debuff on the enemy. This is the double tap debuff. And you can see, you know, regular Snipe doesn't apply it. However, the Empowered one does. And when you hit the enemy with Snipe next, you get an extra few hits. Like, it's just basically better final attack. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And you can see it's on. And when I snipe, it does extra hits, which is really nice. And then on top of that, you also get a buff yourself whenever you use any of the empowered arrows, or empowered pierce or snipe, which gives you final damage as well as ignore enemy defense. And then passively it gives you ignore enemy defense as well. So you can see that buff up here, it's 15 seconds. And this is a buff, you know, this is the smoke around my feet. And yeah, you're pretty much always going to have that up. Well, as long as you're always attacking. Next we have Arrow Illusion, which places down the... well, I almost said flag. Places down an arrow that will zap enemies as well as take their attention off of you. So if I were to show it off in a boss... So, you ever fight Crimson Queen and think, this boss is a little difficult because she keeps aiming at me. That fire breath is super annoying. Well, no longer will you have to worry about that. Because I can place this over here. Well, I guess I'll place it a little closer. I don't have to, but I'm going to. Go ahead and spawn her. And now, look where her attention goes. Not on me. And now I can just attack from all the way over here. Not have to worry about getting attacked, being targeted. She's just gonna keep attacking the arrow that I placed down. Which makes Marksman very good at just being a bossing meal. I can also replace it if I want to. Go over here, she's not going to attack me. Just going to keep trying to attack that. However, if you're in a party, then it kind of messes it up, because it's going to keep taking aggro. Like, your party members are going to keep taking aggro from the arrow. So, in a party, not that useful. However, if you're soloing, extremely useful. Alright, moving on, we have Sharp Eyes, which is a party buff, which increases you and your party members' crit rate and crit damage. Hero's Will, which gets rid of abnormal status effects, while also leaving you immune to status effects. Pretty much the same thing as your third job skill, so you basically get 2 Hero's Will. Maple Warrior increases you and your party members' all stats by 15%. Crossbow Expert is passive, just increases your damage basically. Illusion Step. So this is a skill that I was thinking of before when I was mentioning when you evade a skill, there's like something that pops up and then whatever. But it'll have like this green symbol above your head to show that it worked. And just to show it off. Or I guess not above your head, but around your character. Can't really see it with these guys, but there's like a green flash. And that's the illusion step working. Your character will also smile, probably because they're like, couldn't hit me, could you? And you also take less damage. And then we have Bolt Surplus. This skill is amazing, because not only does it increase your final damage by 15%, but every hit that you do that does more than one line gets an extra line added to it. So whether that's Snipe, which has 9 lines, which now has 10 if you have a point into this, or Pierce, which has 5, which is now 6 because of that, as long as your skill hits more than one time, it'll gain an extra line of damage. Of course, you also get that in your hypers, you can get extra attacks there as well, but yeah. So very, very good skill. And Last Man Standing increases your final damage even further. Now let's move on to hypers. Oh, hyper passives, really. Now, I'm not sure what the perfect ones are, but what I have is Piercing Arrow damage up, because, you know, mobbing skill damage up is always nice. You can also increase the number of attacks to, you know, increase it even further. And then Snipe, I do all 3. But to go over all of them, we have Sharp Eyes. You can make the buff last 30 more seconds. You can give the Sharp Eyes buff the ability to increase IED by 5%, or you can increase the crit rate of Sharp Eyes by 5%, which could be good with a certain 5th job skill. And then you get Piercing Arrow Spread, which just makes Piercing Arrow hit 2 more enemies, which I don't think is super necessary. And yeah, this is what I have currently. But let me know if you know a better combination. So moving on to your hyperactives, we have Bullseye Shot. This is like the best 140 hyper skill. I think maybe Heroes might be better now because it's actual damage, but whatever. This skill buffs everything about your character. It buffs your crit rate, your crit damage, your IED, your overall damage, I think. Yep. So it's really good. And it lasts 20 seconds, but the cooldown is 60 seconds. It's really, really good. And then at 160, 160. Sorry, I'm going off the old system. At 160, you get another mobbing skill, basically. And this is kind of like Pierce, except more range. Or like more vertical range. As you can see, I can't hit the enemies here with Pierce. However, with High Speed Shot, I can. So it's very good for mobbing. You can also use it for bossing if you want, but mainly for mobbing. The cast speed is very quick on it as well. And yeah, it does some pretty nice damage. You can see it does 450, and then Pierce does 343, so technically it's stronger unless you get the enhanced version of it. So yeah, very good for mobbing. It also hits pretty far away. I don't know if you saw that there, but very good. And that's about it for that. In terms of hyper stats, I mean, just put in whatever you really need. Don't do the top 4. Like, don't do these unless you have extra points left over. And that's like a, you know, if you're not saving. But yeah. Your crit rate's gonna be pretty high. Crit damage is always very handy. Ignore enemy defense is great. Damage is awesome. Boss damage. I'm probably gonna cut all this out because, again, this is all just what you need, basically. Like, or hyperstats are really just whatever helps you out. But yeah, crit rate, crit damage, ignore enemy defense damage, and boss damage are all really good to add into. And of course, if you're training, you can do EXP. If you're new to the arcane area, you could do Arcane Force. But anywho, let's move on to 5th job. So in 5th job, you get repeated crossbow cartridge, split shot, surge bolt, and perfect shot once you job advance. And each one is okay. Like split shot and the crossbow, amazing. Well, okay, perfect shot is all. Surge bolt is just not that great. Now, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's go over them. Perfect shot. So when you use it, you get an iframe for, I believe, 2 seconds. And then after the skill ends, you get an extra 1 second iframe. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. And you'll see that the buff up here shows the iframe. So I'm invincible, you can fire an arrow, and then you get another 1 second. The cooldown is only 60 seconds, so it's like a... It's really nice if you're, you know, in a bind and you're just like, oh my god, I'm about to die. You just use it as like a panic button every 60 seconds to survive. The shot that it does is actually pretty strong as well, so... yeah, definitely I recommend using the shot. You only get one. But yeah, it's very strong. Again, even as just an iframe or damage or whatever, it's pretty good. Split shot, this skill. Oh man, this skill. So the duration's pretty long. Mine's not even maxed yet, but I'm sure it gets even longer when you max it, probably, I don't know. But when you use this skill, you get a buff. And while this while this buff is active, oh my, I lag. What is going on with my computer? So every time you hit an enemy with pretty much an arrow, I don't think it works on the... Yeah, so I think it's only like Pierce and Snipe. But as you can see, it splits the arrow into a bunch of other arrows. And it has way more range than normal. Does a lot of damage. It's really, really good. And also the buff lasts a pretty long time, as well as the cooldown being pretty short, only 2 minutes. It's really good. It helps you with your mobbing, it helps you with your bossing, it's just an all-around amazing skill. This also works with, I mean, yeah, pretty much all of your important skills. And then we have repeated this skill, your burst. You activate it, it becomes a buff. And you can see up here you have 8 arrows that you can fire off. Or you can fire off the skill 8 times before it ends. And it fires off quite a bit of arrows. Again, this is your burst. So it'll just target... If there's multiple enemies, it'll target, you know, the multiple enemies. But if there's a single target, it'll target the one... Or if there's multiple enemies, it'll target the one with the highest HP. And yeah, it's just... really good. Really good burst skill. Especially because the cooldown is also pretty short. At 2 minutes, or 120 seconds. And yeah, it's just really strong. I guess if you want me to go over it, I mean, it's right there on the screen, but yeah, it also 100% crits. It's basically like you're firing off a whole bunch of snipes. So, the next skill is Surge Bolt, and with this skill, you can hold it down to charge an arrow. The longer you charge it, or, I mean, this is the full charge, but you can hold it down fully if you want, but it doesn't get any stronger than that, like, circle around you. You can also just tap it to fire off, like, this small arrow. So I made the mistake here of saying that it applies the double tap buff, or debuff, when really it gives you the marked buff. I know it's very confusing, but basically it gives you that, you know, final damage and IED buff. It, like, refreshes it whenever the arrow hits an enemy. So just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, you can hold it down, and while you're holding it down, you can use Snipe, you can use Pierce, you can use, what's that skill called? The repeated cartridge. So yeah, it's very good. Now, I have a question about this skill. So, when I watch marksmans do, like, bossing, I see most of them don't really charge it. And then some of them do charge it. My question, though, is... Okay, this is my current attack speed, right? That's my current attack speed. However... Okay, well, it didn't happen there. You know, I'll do it with Pierce because it's easier to see with Pierce. So this is Pierce's attack speed. You know, like very rhythmic? Yeah. However, when Surge Bolt fully charges, sometimes you get an extra arrow. I don't know if that extra arrow does damage, or if that's even supposed to happen, but here, I'll show you. So that's just the timing currently. Then if I hold it down, or if I hold the Surge Bolt, see that? That extra arrow right there. I don't know if it actually does damage, but when I read the skill, I wasn't really sure, like, if that was supposed to happen, because I don't really see that anywhere. And then the other thing I had a question about was, it says you can activate Surge Bolt while in, you know, full burst shot. After I don't know what that paragraph means. Like, is that trying to explain, like, hey, you can use these skills while you're charging? Like, I don't really know what it means. But, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Because it says, like, you need to use up all of your arrows to use the full burst. I don't know. Someone's gonna have to explain that to me. But, yeah, that is all of the skills. I guess I will show some mobbing and show some bossing. Oh, I never showed 4th job mobbing, did I? Oh my god. Oops. Alright, I'll show everything now. I'll just show everything. Of course, this isn't the best map. Oh my god, I never showed the empowered Pierce. Alright, let me show the... There it is. Yeah, that's the empowered Pierce. It's so good. I love it. Because it, like, fires off the arrow and then it does, like, an AoE at the end. Just so cool. But yeah, the mobbing is still pretty horizontal. However, in certain maps, it's like, it's so good. I guess I could just do this, huh? I don't have to put that teleporter there. Alright, here we go. Oh, maybe not there. Let's put it here. Wait, where does this go? Okay. So let's put the teleporter right there. And then we just do that left and right, and then teleport back to it. Yeah. Of course, this isn't the optimal way to train, it's just one way that you can train. Should I pick a better mobbing map? Alright. So, yeah, Marksman's mobbing, really good. Like, it went from being, like, not that great before Destiny to being, like, really good now. This is just 4th job mobbing, by the way. Like, that's just with me using 4th job skills. However, if I activate Split, then yeah, you can see the mobbing gets way better with Split. You can even throw a Surge Bolt if you want to reach a little further. So yeah, mobbing on Marksman, very good. Especially when you have a Split shot up. Alright, but I guess it's time to show some bossing. Actually, I never showed the boost notes, did I? Holy, I am all over the place in this video. Oops. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some editing. Alright. So, for the boost nodes, you want to boost Snipe, Piercing Arrow, Final Attack, High Speed Shot, and Frost Spray. Oh, and the last skill can be whatever you want. But, yeah, as long as Pierce, Snipe, High Speed Shot, Final Attack, and Frost Spray are all boosted, then you're good. Honestly, if you're using this class as a bossing meal, you only really need to boost Pierce, Snipe, and Final Attack, which is, you know, what I have here. Because, I don't know, the other skills aren't crazy good. What I mean by that is, even Final Attack is like, what people will tell you is do Pierce, Snipe, and High Speed Shot. Because High Speed Shot is used while mobbing, and Final Attack doesn't actually, like, help that much in battle analysis anyway. I mean, I guess I could show you what I mean. And also, this will cover bossing. I'll just do a test dummy. I'll show you what, like, a full burst looks like, I guess. But, like, I think... And also my skills aren't maxed, so it's gonna be, like, not great, but whatever. Alright, so yeah, Final Attack is, like, a very low percent of your overall damage, and, what's it called? Surge Bolt, this skill, is also, like, only 5% of your overall damage as well, so it's, like... I don't know, some people were saying Surge Bolt's just not a great skill. But because it activates, you know, the Mark debuff, I think it's pretty okay. Oh wait, does it have to be fully charged to activate the Mark debuff? Oh, I never noticed that. I mean, I always just charge mine. Oh, wait, does it not activate the Mark debuff? Oh, it's not the debuff, it just activates the buff up here. I see. So yeah, see, it's up here now. Oh, well then yeah, Surge Bolt's not that great. I just want to show that, like, Final Attack or whatever. Like, as long as Snipe and Pierce are boosted, then yeah, that should be good. I did Final Attack mainly because, one, I thought it was good, which it isn't. And, I mean, if it was Advanced Final Attack, it would be. And two, I just didn't really see High Speed Shot being, you know, good. When, yeah, you could use it in mobbing, so I probably should have boosted it, but I'm not really going to be training anymore, so... Anywho. But yeah, if you're only a boss meal, you can do Final Attack. Let's go ahead and get our buffs. Alright, let's do it. So, overall, these are like the top skills that are, you know, helping you do damage. And then way back over here, you can see these two are not really helping at all. So it's not really worth boosting final attack, but I mean, if I didn't boost it, it would be even lower. But yeah. And then people complain about Surge Bolt because it's like, should you even bother charging it? Because if I didn't charge it, it would only be like 2% of the overall damage. But I mean, that's still an extra 1%. So yeah. I guess it's up to you whether you want to charge it or not. I got used to charging it, so I don't mind. But I guess if you don't want to charge it, you don't have to. So like while you're attacking, you just tap the skill if you want to. But yeah. I should probably redo that, or maybe I'll just put text on the screen saying that it gives you the buff rather than the marked rather than this this, because I always get those two confused, the marked buff and the what do we call it, double tap debuff. Anywho, that's about it, really. Oh, you know what? There is something else I could go over. The common skills. So there's the Sharp Eyes one, the bird, and the arrow. So the arrow is a toggle. You can turn it on and off whenever, and when you do damage, it'll go attack the enemy. It attacks pretty quickly as well. And then we also have Vicious Shot. Whatever your crit rate is, a portion of it will go into your crit damage. It also allows your crit rate to go above 100%, which means you can get even more crit damage. You're not just locked at, 100% and that's it. So whatever your crit rate is, a percent of it will go into your crit damage, and then it also allows you to exceed going over 100%. Or exceed 100%. Let's see, oh, and then the bird, it just makes your bird stronger. Yeah, your bird becomes a lot stronger. If it'll attack, I can show you. Go ahead. Hit him. Hit him. Why aren't you hitting him? He's shy. But yeah, it's also really helpful in mobbing. Like when I'm mobbing on my Marksman, what I like to do is cycle between Split Shot and the Enhanced Bird, Fury of the Wild. So that when Split Shot is over, I use Fury of the Wild, and when Fury of the Wild is over, by the time it's over, Split Shot is ready. And I just cycle between the two. And now that's it. Pretty sure that's everything I wanted to say about Marksman. Might redo this video. Maybe. I don't know, it feels kind of sloppy. But I mean, it's my first video back in a while, so sorry about that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you in the next one. And I don't really know what else to say. Thanks for watching. What else do I usually say at the end of my videos? Holy, it's been way too long. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video so I can edit it and then start recording the next video, which I think will probably be Nightwalker. Anyway, goodbye.